Well, hello everyone. Yes, it is me. I am alive. Probably not by much. As people know, yes, I have been quite sick this month, to say the least. I've been kind of fighting through it, and if I cough on mic, I apologize. I will try to mute when I do that because I still have persistent cough. Although I am taking cough medicine, as you can tell, I probably have lost a lot of weight. Yes, people are looking at my face. A considerable amount of weight already. But that's good because I was trying to diet anyways. I didn't really want to diet by means of being sick, but it kind of worked out that way. I am COVID negative, however. I did take a test. My roommate's not so lucky. She popped positive again. So that's twice she's had COVID, but I just had a very nasty, virulent self-diagnosis, I guess, of strep throat because I've had it many, many times. My tonsils were the size of large grapes, to say the least. Difficulty swallowing, fever, and it was just nasty for the last couple weeks. And so I'm feeling better, a little bit better today. Like I said, I'm managing. And it's good that I dropped weight. I mean, you can kind of see it in my face. I think I can look in the camera and see that I'm a little more gaunt than I was last month. But I've already was trying to drop down to below 200 from almost 210 again. So I was about 220. I dropped down to 210 on my first diet, and then I dropped down to about 202, give or take. And that's about where I'm at now. I'm still trying to get around 200. So I'm trying to keep my nutrients up. Obviously, when you're dehydrated and you're losing weight, not by lack of calories, but by the fact that you just, are, this is say, expelling things from various places. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm drinking water. I didn't. Oh, I have my filter on. Do I have? I did. Oh, look at that! I got my filter on, and look at that! Look what I got next to me here. That is cool as shit. Oh my god, that's Lawrence. That was something that I made for him. That is just cool. I like that. That was totally unintentional. Oh, I needed that laugh. But anyways, so that's kind of my status. And I apologize for not streaming a lot this month. Obviously, when you're not feeling well, the last thing you want to do is get on camera and talk for extended period of time. I do have non sequitur on Wednesday. I'm doing it with Nikki38. We're going to be talking about death and dying. Excuse me. We're going to be talking about senescence. We're going to be talking about what it is to exist as far as like you being you and what you would even be after death. If you continued on after death, what does that even mean? Hopefully we'll have some theist, some dualist, like substance dualist, some philosophy of mind going on, and even some atheist or whatever. Calling in, weighing in, or joining the chat. I have Streamlabs open like I usually do if anyone wants to join. And they can kind of weigh in on what they think kind of happens after you no longer exist. Now, I have my own personal beliefs on it. I'll be going over that on Wednesday. I mean, and these are not, hard and fast beliefs. They're not like certainties or certitudes. They are not sureties, but they're just basically, I think, where I'm at right now, more or less. But I think I'll kind of wait for the show in order to get into all that. But, when you get sick, you do think about that kind of stuff, man. Like I said, I'm definitely not 100%. I still got some medical phone calls to make. I still got some tests that I got to do. I was supposed to do one recently. During Christmas time, people tend to work more. I did get offered a job promotion as far as like they want me to go full-time eventually. And even though I put in a lot of hours, I'm not quite, I don't want to do like 40 hours a week. I just don't think I'm capable of doing 40 hours a week any longer. But I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll see. But even still, I mean, I still put in a significant amount of hours from what I want to do. And so that kind of cuts into my streaming time, especially when, I'm closing almost every night. And so I prefer closing shifts. And that's kind of the prime streaming time. Most people don't really stream much during the daytime. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously season will be over after Christmas, after December. And so hopefully by January, I can get back into more of a regular streaming pattern. I want to keep up, my streams. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy, doing shows and doing reviews. And so I'm still going to be doing that. Like I said, I apologize for this month because, again, being sick is no fun. And when you're sick, you don't feel like streaming. You don't feel like talking to anybody. Especially when you got to cough every 2 seconds. You got to run to the bathroom every 2 seconds. You've all been there. I mean, we all know what it's like to be sick. So, uh, I don't think I have to apologize too profusely for that, but I do to some degree, because again, I feel bad. I feel bad that people are subscribed and Patreon and members, and then I haven't put out as much as I usually do. So I do ask for their forgiveness on that. Captain Death says no birth till no death. It's all continuation. I don't kind of believe that. I do believe there's a distinct difference between birth and death. We are all who are born eventually die. That's a matter of scientific fact. But like I said, I think we're going to get into the specificities of it on Wednesday. What it means to actually die and to cease to exist and things of that nature. Annihilation versus the concept of hell, or continuation or rebirth or anything of that nature. As far as everything else was going on, as far as the internets and the web-based conversations, I gotta tell you, I have no idea what's going on. None whatsoever. People tag my names and things, and people have been discussing me. And I guess my name is still out there. I swear to God, I haven't been doing F-all for like how long now? And yet people talk about me all the freaking time on the internet. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about because I haven't been involved in anything. But apparently there are some people that I don't know anything about. I barely know their names. And yet for some reason, my name keeps coming up and I just don't know why. And so, I'm not going to get any details on it. People have been following on Twitter, but the rule of thumb is this. If somebody starts talking about me, 99% of the time, it's going to be wrong. Unless you've asked me about it, just assume that they're lying. I don't know what else to tell you at this point. I haven't talked to anybody in ages. The only person I've even had any real conversations with is Reds, I guess. But I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't even been able to catch up with Aaron. I haven't been able to talk to Tina. So when people making all these weird allegations about me, it's like, from where? I don't know what the hell you're even talking about. Because again, I'm not in any group. I've been sicker than hell. And so what possible crap could I have gotten myself involved into? And so I think what happens, like Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what happens is when they can't attach my name to anything, they just make shit up out of the ethosphere. It's like, oh, Steve's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the hell are you even talking about? Because that's what's going on Twitter. I'm like, I have no idea who these people are. I've never talked to half these people. I swear to God, I don't know anything about them. Names keep coming up like Penelope and Dana and Nonsense. I never fucking talked to any of them. I offered one time to talk to Nonsense. She chickened out because she's a coward. Yes, I believe she's a liar, but what does she got to do with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't know the person.
Yeah, I've seen myself people bring up stuff about you that's not true, and I know a little bit, but nothing to do with you. It's to do with other people.
Yeah, but why did my name keep getting roped in? Hi, Jay LaRusso. And by the way, if you guys have not, God dang it, hang on one sec. I'm sorry. I apologize. If you guys have not watched Jay's latest video, go watch it. It's actually really good. Jay did a video where he interviewed Suzanne, No Longer Quivering, and myself. Very good quality edits. And by the way, what he edited out was just fluff between him and I, right? So he didn't edit out anything that was of any consequence or anything substantial or that changed the narrative. I respect that. He didn't do any manipulations. He didn't do any Frankenstein cuts. Take things out of context. So yeah, I watched what you put out there, Jay. It was good. Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with it. So props to you. If people want to know what was going on with the Katie Joy Paulson stuff, go watch that video. If Artistic Shill would do me a solid maybe and put his link to that video in the live chat, I'd be greatly appreciative, and people can go check it out. I'm gonna cough again, but anyways, hey Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing good, dude. The stuff I've been hearing about is like.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I muted the StreamYard, not the outside. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh my God, I'm sorry, OBS. I keep muting the StreamYards. I'm not muting the OBS. I'm so sorry. People coughing in their ear and shit. I'm sorry. My mic etiquette has gone to crap. I apologize. I fixed it. I'm now on OBS over here on my other monitor where I could actually silence it when I'm coughing. Like I said, I've been sick. Okay. But anyways, Brandon, go ahead.
Oh, you're using OBS and StreamYard or whatever.
Yeah, I'm having OBS as my streaming software, and then StreamYard is my container where people can come in and join like you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah. Cool. The stuff I've been hearing about is all about Unilog stuff.
I know. And here's the thing: I don't even have anything to do with that dude. Like nothing. I don't. Yeah. I made mention of him once in a blue moon. But as far as I know, I'm concerned, he's dead. He's just dead to me. I mean, he's been dead to me for years. I don't interact with him. I don't talk about him. I have no use for him. He's a complete piece of shit, a trash human. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. And so I have nothing to do with him. And so for him to continue to talk about me, which he's allowed to do, I don't give a shit, is weird because, again, I know nothing that's going on. And so anything that's being fabricated in this weird alternate reality in his head has nothing to do with me. Absolutely. Well, none of it ever did, right? So that's just kind of funny part.
It's Roadhog. Roadhog's trying to go after him because he talks shit about Roadhog, and I don't know.
Let them fight it out. I haven't anything to do with Roadhog either. I haven't talked to Roadhog since last year.
Long time. Yeah.
You hang out with Roadhog. I don't hang out with Roadhog. And here's the thing. I have nothing against Roadhog one way or another. I don't care. It's just he's a non-entity in my life. I don't know why people think that all YouTubers seem to like know each other. I barely knew the guy before. I talked to him a handful of times. We were never somebody who just hung out together.
That's the reason why he's catching all the shit he is. But yeah.
Why? I haven't really kept it. I talked to Michelle, his wife, more than any. I mean, I haven't talked to her like this, but I mean, I'll be cordial to her on Twitter and stuff like that. But again, that's all. I just hang out sometimes. It's just like weird to see my name being bantered about with Roadhog still. It's like, it's been like a year, people. A year. And yet my name's still tossed around with Roadhog. That's weird.
And technically, you weren't really friends. He just interviewed you. That's all.
Yeah, no, I would never say we're friends. I knew of him and we corresponded and, so somebody be my friend. Reg is my friend, right? You are my friend. Aaron's my friend. Tina's my friend. These are people that I have actually, some consideration and care for. And so just because I talk to somebody or I communicate with them or I tweet with them does not make somebody instantaneously a friend, I mean, acquaintance, sure. I mean, everybody that I interact with online could be an acquaintance of some kind where we are acquainted. But I mean, I don't hang out with Jay. I don't hang out with Autistic Shell. I respect both of them. But I mean, we don't go out partying or something like that.
Yeah, to be friends is like another level. And, well, I mean, we're friends, but we don't talk much.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't. I have a lot of friends in my life. I don't freaking 40 years I don't talk that much to.
If I tried to communicate with you as much as I wanted to, you'd probably be annoyed with me.
I'm not around that much. But when you do reach out to me, I respond. I mean, I'm like, I always get back to people. I may not do it instantaneously, especially this month. So people that are so used to me getting back to them within like 10 seconds of the message to me, that hasn't happened this month. I'm just not online as much. If I am, I'm playing a game or I'm not focused on the social media stuff as anywhere near what I used to be. I just don't care. I lost interest in it, so to speak, especially when you're sick, right? You just lose interest.
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of interest in things. I don't know why. Maybe it just people change. But even philosophy, I'm kind of finding myself kind of like shying away from a little bit because I every time I read something about philosophy, my head hurts. I start getting a headache, which is typical for most people, right? I'm like, oh my God, am I losing interest in philosophy?
Well, yeah, people shouldn't expect even though friends to respond that quickly. I don't get why people get mad that they don't answer back. I don't get that.
Well, yeah, and what do they think? We're just like sitting there waiting for, we see if I see something come up in a DM, right? Usually you tell somebody's messaged you. If I'm watching a TV show or I'm playing a game, I'm not going to get back to them right away these days, as much as anywhere near that I used to. I do have a new monitor over here, a laptop that I'm using for a monitor. It's just a very inexpensive Chromebook. It's not running Chrome OS though. It's running Windows S. It's a Celeron processor, an N4020. It's a very low end system, but for 11.6 inch screen. But I gotta tell you, for what I'm using it for, it's absolutely perfect. It's cheap, like real cheap, but I'm literally just using it for, messages or anything. If I am playing a game and I do expect something, then I can put my email up and check it when it comes in. But that's usually when I'm expecting something. But I also use it for just like surfing. I can watch something over here, then I can read the news over here. So I kind of like it. See, this is my skin. Can you see it? It's just a little.
Yeah.
It's just a little.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I have I try putting Linux on it. Well, I haven't installed it completely. I just running off a thumb drive, a little thumb drive like this. So I put Linux Garda. I think it's called Gardia. I think it's pronounced on this, and it's actually not a bad operating system. It's I think it's a KDA type Linux, and I tried that out. I think I'm gonna go back to Mint though, and just run Mint as a live stick. I do like Linux Mint if you haven't used it. I don't know.
Cool.
It runs faster on these little laptops than Windows do. So, anyways, by the way, does it look like I lost weight? Can you see that my face looks thinner? Or is this
Yeah,
me?
it's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, people. If you want to lose weight, get sick. It works every time.
Food poisoning.
No, I've
That's
had
the best way to do it.
I've had food poisoning. That's oh my god.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's a pleasurable way to do it, but it's a good way to do it.
I remember when I was telling a story. This is weird. This is still weird to me. I'm never gonna get over this. I had a guy. I have a bunch of people on my Facebook that were on my ship, the USS Truxton, and they all know I was a nuke, right? I was an M1 division, which is a nuke division, and this guy was a friend of mine who was a what was he? I think he was a sonar tech, if I'm not mistaken. And we were talking about the salinity plant in M1, right? We were talking about how there was something wrong with the salinity plant. I think there was an oil rag or something that got stuck in it, and it made everybody sick. And I had to go to medical and get an IV because I was just pale white, dehydrated, because the water supply was contaminated. And aboard ship, you need drinking water. You can't drink the ocean, obviously, because then you're going to get dehydrated and die. So I was telling people, yeah, we had an emergency thing where we had to go fix the evaporator. And so people were like, oh my God, Steve's is a glorified evaporator tech. And I'm like trying to explain to people, because I saw this going around the internet on Twitter a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, do people not understand that the evaporation system comes from steam, which comes from the reactor, which means a nuke has to take care of it? Because people are like, oh, Steve lied about his nuclear stuff, and Steve lied about his military experience. I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, oh my God, how dumb can you be? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that a salinity plant uses steam to heat the water. It goes in what's called a steam basket, and then it heats the water, and then it gets distilled out, and all the impurities get filtered out, and all the solids, which is total dissolved solids, which is mostly salinity and brine, that gets pumped out by a brine pump. And then in the condensate, you have to have a certain, obviously, temperature to reach a steam under pressure, but then it goes and it gets distilled out, and then you want to make sure there's no microbial life in there, and then you actually put in what's called sodium hydroxide, which is basically bleach, and the bleach will kill any organic material. And so this is a very, very simplistic yet very, very precise process, because you have to measure how much water you have, how much sodium hydroxide you need to put in there. And again, people are just like, oh, Steve lied about his military stuff. And I'm like, dude, if you think I lied about my military stuff, fuck off. Just fuck off and die. I have no time for that. You are a fucking idiot. Just straight up, you're stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. In fact, I think I had my stuff for my Veterans Day, but it's just like, I couldn't believe that was like the narrative people were trying to run, because I fixed a salinity plant, which happened to be in a nuclear engine room where you had to be a nuke to go in, or at least what's called a thermoluminescent dosimeter. You couldn't even enter the engine room unless you had a TLD device. Why? Because it was around radiation. So I couldn't believe
you have to wear a suit too, or something?
No, it's not that hard. No, it's low level radiation. I mean, you got primary shielding, then you got secondary shielding. There's multiple forms of radiation. Most of it's stopped by the primary shielding. You do have some neutron radiation that can go through, some high level gamma radiation. But I mean, again, the shielding is so so good that you're not exposed to that much radiation. But in the event of an accident, and the shielding fails, or there's something along those lines of a high intensity spike, then yeah, you might be in trouble. But if you go into that engine room, you do have to wear dosimetry. And so I don't know. I thought it was funny that I saw, some people just happen to be mentioning about Steve lied about his military career. I'm like, yeah, you could die. Just die. I don't even care about these people's in real life. If they were to walk off the fucking edge of the earth on a flat earth and fall off, I'd be okay with this. And people go like, look, Steve wants these people to die. And that's not what I said. I said I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if they fell off the flat earth. There's a difference.
Steve admitted it. The earth is flat.
Right? Yeah. The thing is, I have no empathy for them. I just don't care. I think people that stupid that are going to that are questioning me. I something happened to me. I don't care. They're not part of my life.
Yeah.
Tal says Ubuntu life. I've used Ubuntu, 16.01 and 6.02, I think it was. I've used Kubuntu. I like Ubuntu, but Ubuntu is a GNOME interface, and I'm not thrilled with the GNOME interface for the most part. I like the ACFE and I like the KDE interfaces. And I, of course, Mint, Linux Mint, which is Cinnamon Mint for the main version. I like the best, but I'm not a big fan of Ubuntu as far as that GNOME interface. Maybe it's just me. But as far as stability, Ubuntu is very good. Yeah.
No idea. I'm not a huge computer guy. I know how to operate it, but other than that, operating systems, things like that, no idea.
Yeah, I've worked with DOS 2.11. I had a little bit of experience with CP/M on, I think it was a Kpro system. I've worked with Focal language, which is not an operating system. Visual Basic, which is not an operating system. But I have done a little bit with Arch Linux. I've done a little bit with Fedora, which I didn't like at all. I've done a little bit with, obviously, Mint, which I do like. And then Cinnamon, Ubuntu has a lot of versions. Ubuntu is big. And so, see, how is it possible that a flat earther like Steve became a nuke of the Navy? I don't know. Yeah, I'm a flat earther now. Yeah. Go flat, people. Go flat.
Keep it flat, yeah.
Keep it flat. Have you guys heard? You guys heard that? Okay, so you guys know the Archimedes. What is not there? What was the rocket that just went up? The
Artemis.
Artemis, yeah, the Artemis 1, right? It's gonna be three missions that go to the moon. So the Artemis 1 was a huge success, right? I mean, it's I think it's even at the moon at this point, isn't it? Or it's well on its way.
I think it's gonna go around it.
Yeah.
The first two are like gonna go around it or something, and the third one's gonna land on it.
Yeah, exactly. And Res Rhetoric took some brilliant, amazing footage of it with Astronomy Live. And so these flat earthers are losing their minds because they're like having to come up with explanations about how the Artemis rocket, didn't bounce off a dome, or maybe they think it did, or how it missed the moon because they don't understand basic orbital mechanics. And then what's going to happen when we do land on the moon? It's like these people I'm sorry, but I am convinced at this point, if you're a flat earther, you've got to be a Poe. I think that maybe 1% of flat earthers are actual believers the earth is flat. It cannot be that high. I'm sorry. It cannot be that high a number. Please, dear God, tell me if you guys think that flat earthers, the majority of them actually believe the earth is flat. I just don't think that they do. I'm sorry. I don't know.
It is easy. It would be easy to fake.
It would be. How would you fake that? Go to the moon?
No, not that. The fake that the earth is flat.
Oh, yeah.
You fake flat earth, yeah.
Yeah, you just pretend you're brain dead. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Brick with Eye says, honest question, with your background from where I live, you would make mad money working on any plant or water recycling and filtration. I live near Detroit, a lot of water stuff. Yeah, no, I know. I'm well aware of that. I have some, there's what's that called? Imperial Irrigation District down here. I did work at a biomass steam plant, which disposed of palm trees for a while. But most of the people that got out that I know of, they went into actually boiler tech stuff as like inspecting hoppers like beer. I know one guy that was making 6 figures a year. He inspected the piping for boilers for making beer for carbon, like what's called carbon impingement, for signs of damage, electrolytic. What happens if you have two like pieces of metal that are just like different types of metal? You can get electrostatics between them because of electrical current, and it can cause wear on their bad welds and things like that. Yeah, and so they inspect these piping for like carbon steel piping impingement and things of that nature, and then they make good money. But I did get a job offer once when I first got in the Navy. I had a job offer, and it was in a place in Rhode Island. And what they were doing was called vitrification, which was radiological containment by encapsulation by glass. And it seems like a really novel approach to disposing of radiation, because usually you put them in these big barrels, and so you put cement and other things in there, and then you bury them. But this was a process where the vitrification process would encapsulate it in glass kind of stuff. Oh, look who showed up. Oh, look at this ugly guy from Florida.
We'll
get back to you in a second. We'll get back to you in a second, the Archimedes thing. And so I flew down. Artemis. Yeah, Artemis. Yeah, Artemis. We have the rocket guy here in a second to explain the whole thing, because that's what he does. And so I got flown down to Rhode Island, and I interviewed with the company to be working on this process. And the guys that were working there were ex-nukes like myself. And one of the questions they had asked me, I swear to God, was something what's called muff. You want to know what muff is? Does anybody know what muff is? Reds, do you know what muff is?
Do I want to know?
Only somebody in the military, the nuke, would know what this is. So probably not. But muff stands for makeup feed flow. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm being asked what muff is here. And I interviewed really well. It was a place called, I think it was called Molten Metal Technologies, if you want to look it up. But they're no longer in business, because when I flew back to California, about a month later, I'm like, I haven't heard from these people. And I thought I did really well. And I would have really relocated to Rhode Island. They were offering like big money. It was not quite 6 digits, but it was decent money. Found out they filed for bankruptcy. And I was like, oh my God, I would have moved out there and we situated myself near Rhode Island, and they would have gotten out of business. That would have been crap. But anyways, Reds, how are you?
I was on the toilet taking a shit, and then they saw that you were live, and I was like, the prophecy has come true. So here I am.
So every time you have a turd, I go stream. Causation does not mean correlation.
I don't know, man.
Although I'd like to see a data plot for this, turd versus stream.
Turd versus stream. Yeah. I'll get that paperwork to you as soon as I start caring.
There needs to be scientific people on this.
I could have gotten a job. People are like, it's easy for nukes to get a job in commercial nuclear. Oh, sure. There's San Onofre down here. There's Diablo Canyon. I could have gone back and worked in that sector, but I just didn't want to. I don't know, man. When I got in the Navy, I was so burned out. And I didn't want to have to go learn a whole new reactor system. I already studied two. I learned S1C, which was a submarine first generation combustion engineering. And then I learned D2G, which is a destroyer second class General Electric. Why would I want to go learn a whole new system? I didn't. At that point, I've lost interest. And again, I lose interest quickly. And so I was like, I'm done with that part of my life as far as the nuke stuff. And I just didn't want to, even though I went to go work at this biomass steam plant, which was dirty as shit. It was all, steam generation by literally putting palm trees into this big thing and burning it. Then you get the ash out of it and the silt, or it was called coke. I think it was coke. I don't remember the name of it. It was something that's left over when you burn the stuff. But anyway, so hey, Reds, how's the rocket program going?
Well, Artemis is still doing its thing and pissing people off all over the internet.
It really is, dude. I've been reading some of the flat Earth stuff, mostly on your timeline. But there's a lot of flat earthers that are losing their minds. Are they thinking about either coming out of the closet as actual ball earthers, or you think they're just poing still?
Well, here's what's going on. There was a lot of talk over the last few years about this one quote from Pettit, I believe the guy's name is, who is a NASA astronaut. And the quote was, which I know was taken out of context, but quote unquote, we destroyed the technology to get to the moon. We destroyed the technology to get to the moon.
That's a prat, dude. That's how many times has that
Wow.
been brought up?
Yeah, so
Holy
basically, a lot of flat earthers were running with this with that quote and saying, well, how come we could do this 50 years ago and we can't do it now? Huh? You're still telling me that NASA could have done this 50 years ago and they can't do it now? Well, then, of course, we have Artemis. And now that entire sticking point, or that point that they want to stick from the flat earth side, is now no longer valid, because there was a rocket on the launch pad that launched a crew-rated vehicle, a human-rated vehicle, to the fucking moon. And now they're losing their fucking shit over it because, well, Ben said that they lost the fucking technology to get to the moon. I'm like, you took the quote out of context. I'm pretty sure that Ford no longer has the capability of making the fucking Model T currently, because we've upgraded.
Let's say you had an IBM computer at your house, like a System 360, which was one of the first models of a mainframe computer that ever existed, right? Let's say you had an IBM 360 sitting at your house, which would probably be taking up the entire house, but whatever. And you say, hey, you know what? I got to fix this shit. I need a part for this. And IBM says, we haven't made this part since 1978, We don't even have the ability to make this part anymore because there's nobody that has this system. We don't have the technology to make this part. Could be if we really needed to. Could we make the equipment and spend millions of dollars to make a fabricator and injection molding to make this part so you, Reds, could get your System 360 working? Sure. But that's not gonna happen. Yeah, because it's obsolete. Exactly.
Yeah, we've moved on since the old F1s, and now with Artemis 1 having lifted off and launched the Orion crew capsule to the moon, flat earthers are now losing their fucking minds over it, because now they can't go back to that quote. Now they have to actually, deal with the fact that it was possible back then. It's possible now. We're now demonstrating it currently. I mean, the fucking Orion spacecraft is taking selfies. The fucking spacecraft is taking fucking selfies. What more do you fucktards want? So
what do they want? I mean, what are they actually complaining? I mean, what are they thinking, that it was CGI or something, or what?
Well, of course, there's a lot of people that think it's CGI. That's the ultimate fallback plan.
Do they? But CGI is a go-to thing.
CGI is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card for every single flat earther that doesn't want to have to admit that, yes, NASA has the technology to get to the fucking moon. They're just not going to do it with a Saturn V, because here's the thing: we've moved on from the Saturn V. We don't need to use that rocket anymore. We've moved on. Amazing. We have better shit now.
Technology 50 years later,
It's and so, like, for example, I was having a conversation with a guy by name of Sacred, and he hosts a chat on Twitter through the Twitter rooms or streams or lives or groups or whatever the fuck they're called on Twitter, which I'm sure the name is going to change next week, but whatever. So anyway, he's having this chat, and I keep going into these rooms, and the common question that I had, and this was before Artemis launches, why did we destroy the technology to get to the moon? I'm like, I know exactly where you got that fucking quote, because it was a misquote. What Pettit was trying to say, and I guess doing a very piss poor job of saying it, which I will accept, but then again, he wasn't. He's not really trained for this. He's trained to be a fucking astronaut, not deal with, not to be a presenter or whatever, like fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy. So, but he said, no, those use old engines, F1 engines. We stopped making the F1 engines decades ago. So we don't have the capability of making those particular engines, and the rocket that it was designed to go on, we no longer have the infrastructure and and nor the personnel that was familiar with that infrastructure to build it again, because we've moved on since then. That's what he was trying to say.
Again, obsolete.
You know, he's trying to say we've moved on, and because we've moved on, we no longer have the want, need, or desire to dig up old blueprints of this fucking rocket to rebuild it again. Why? Because we have better shit now. So yeah, it's like for example, you can also look at the fact that there's a someone in the live chat
Oh,
says
I'm
you're
sorry.
muted, by the way.
Oh, I was just saying to Reds, I was like, it's kind of like a VIC 20. You know, people in order to make a VIC 20 would have to like make a whole bunch of new machinery to make the old part. And so could we make a VIC 20 if we really wanted to? Probably, but why would we want to? That technology is antiquated, and it would cost an awful lot of money to make a VIC 20. We can make a super, much more powerful computer that's 50 years newer. So yeah, the technology for a VIC 20, yeah, we don't have any of that crap any longer.
Yeah, and there's also no more infrastructure. They do not exist anymore to make the Pontiac Fiero. There's no more infrastructure out there. It does not exist to make a Ford Model T. The infrastructure is not there to make, a Saturn V or the F1 engines that go to the Saturn V. The infrastructure just is not there anymore. Why? Because, like I said, we moved on. So when we had Artemis on the launch pad and it was about ready to kick ass and take names and make flat earthers its fucking bitch, they were dreading the day that it actually lifted off, because then they would have to do one of two things. They would have to either accept the fact that actually we do have the technology, in the ultimate sense. We have the technology, ultimate sense here, to get to the moon, not that particular technology, because that's old school shit, to get to the moon. And we're using it to actually get to the moon right now, currently, as I'm talking at this very moment in time, while there's an Orion spacecraft taking fucking selfies on the other side of the fucking moon. Or they're going to go back to their previous bullshit of, well, okay, it's just CGI then.
That's why I think that almost all of them oppose. I think if they have to go out of, damn, dude, are you okay?
Sorry, I moved my mic a little. I shouldn't do that anymore.
It's okay.
But
I mean, for them to go out of their way to willfully decontextualize something and take things out of context, to me, shows that these people, again, are obviously all flat earthers are dishonest. I don't think I've ever seen one that's not dishonest. But because they're dishonest, to me, they're willing to lie, to pretend that the earth is flat just to piss you and other people off, rather than actually believe it. Because again, I have a hard time differentiating between those who actually believe such a thing as opposed to those who are just pretending in order to, troll. I haven't had that ability to differentiate. You think that you do. I don't know if you do or not, but I don't see how you could.
That's why we have a hashtag. We have a hashtag that goes along that concept. It's hashtag gotta lie to flirt. Like, for example, there was this one interview or this meet and greet that Buzz Aldrin was having with a child. And because the dude's getting up there in age and he doesn't speak very clearly, there was this one quote that if you tilt your head and squint your eyes and also take a shit ton of meth, you might be able to confuse what he's saying as him saying, we never went to the moon. Mm-hmm. But like I said, you would have to be on a shit ton of meth in order to make that mistake. Now, let's go ahead and say that he misspoke. Let's say I give that to you full beans. You have that quote. They will then take that one quote as gospel, but ignore the literal thousands of interviews I can find of this guy saying unequivocally, we went to the moon.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I went there. I shat my pants. I did all this shit while I was on the moon.
That's why I can't take it. Well, obviously we don't take any flat earthers seriously, but I mean,
No.
I take those that do that even less seriously because in my mind they don't actually believe what they claim to. I will actually just sit there until I have to be convinced that they believe what they believe. I'm just not convinced that most of them are because that's
they're so dishonest that you're right to question whether or not they actually believe this shit. So, like I said, they will take that one quote out of context, or let's say it's not out of context. Let's say he said that and he misspoke, but they're going to elevate that one quote to the point where it's gospel, but ignore the thousands of other quotes where he is saying, "We went to the moon. I actually did this shit. Get the fuck off my back."
Mm-hmm.
They will ignore all of that. Why? Because they love cherry picking, and as we all know, cherry picking is a form of lying.
Yeah.
You gotta lie to flip.
There's money in it too. There's an entire economy around the flat earth too.
I gotta tell you, I don't see the profitability as much as it once was. I mean, YouTube cracked down on it. Jeranism, I think, single-handedly destroyed Flat Earth himself. Interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much profitability can it be to lie to people like that? I don't think the trolls do it for profit.
Actually, have conventions on it.
Do they make that much money? Come on.
I think Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole has made a few $100,000 off of it.
Wow, we're in the wrong business, Red. What the hell are we doing?
Well, you see, we have these things called standards, and unfortunately, flat earthers don't have any like standards of how to live your life. So he'll go ahead and make an app and sell it, despite the fact that it doesn't fucking work, and claim to have the greatest thing since sliced bread. But with all that money, he won't do the absolute bare bones basic of, launching a CubeSat to space with a camera attached to it.
Which, by the way, anybody can pretty much do nowadays.
Well, now he has the capital to do that. Let's say what he says is true. He says that around 60,000 people, somewhere thereabouts, downloaded his app. He sells the app for somewhere like $3.50 a pop or something like that. So if he were to get even half of that, that's still over $100,000 easy.
What's the app supposed to do?
Spare.
What's the app supposed to do?
It's a clock that's supposed to tell you where the sun is over the flat earth or some shit like that. It doesn't work. We tested it. It doesn't work. Watch Slice Barkane's video.
Shocker.
It's a bullshit app. It's a fucking clock.
Can you buy a weather balloon for less than 100,000? Like Mr. Sensible did?
Well, not just that, dude. It's more than just a weather balloon. There's actually companies out there that will take care of the manufacturing, the logistics, and all of that shit. All you have to do is pay them. All you have to do is give them your requirements for a CubeSat, and they will literally do the fucking work for you. And if you say, listen, I do not care about any particular orbit. Ooh, that makes life easy. Mm-hmm. I only want a camera on the bitch. Ooh, that's even easier.
Or for it to send a signal. You could pick if you could pick up a signal as it goes across the sky. Boom, flat Earth debunked.
Yeah, you could do that as well. There's so many options that are now within the budget of Dearth, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. So I ask flat earthers, like, why do they keep trusting that this guy is so for the truth when he won't do the one thing that could literally blow the fucking lid off of this? If he were to launch, like, let's say FlatSat 1, and he was able to show that, in fact, the Earth is round, wouldn't that be in pursuit of that goal of finding, quote unquote, the truth of the matter? I mean, that would
but that's why I think he knows the truth.
Answer all these questions, wouldn't it?
I know Jeranism is a scam artist. There's no question in my mind about that. But I mean, I don't know Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. I have no idea about that person. I would assume
no.
They probably do know the Earth is round, but just don't care. But that's my operating condition.
I'll tell you. He is also a con artist. He is a total con artist, and I have little doubt that he already knows the Earth is round.
Yeah. I believe that too. I think that all of them do. I think every flat earther by the very nature is a con artist.
Yeah, I think that Well, this is the main reason why he doesn't want to invest in a CubeSat, for example, because then he wouldn't be able to grift off of flat Earth anymore.
Would he give all that money back if he had to?
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, there you go, then.
No way.
Yeah.
You know, even if he did this and blew the lid off of this tomorrow, that dude would still be, you know, $50,000 in the green. So obviously he made good on it, but you just can't make the argument with a straight face and saying, "Oh, this dude is totally in it to blow the lie wide open" or something like that. No, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about actually finding out the truth of the matter. He's not about truth. He's about lining his own pockets.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm convinced of that. I've only known like one flat earther that legit was a flat earther. Then he is no longer flat earth. That was Ranty, I believe it was. But the rest, everyone I've ever seen, I just think they're full of shit. I'm not convinced that they actually believe it. I mean, there might be a few that are that stupid. Like, remember Gavin and Dell?
Yeah, I do.
Remember, they probably were that stupid, but they're an exception.
It's to the point where it's really an open question with a bunch of the higher up flirts of whether or not they actually believe this garbage, and I'm convinced that deep inside the rabbit hole doesn't. I'm convinced that he is a round earther, which is, I guess, good news. But he has figured out that he can grift and scam his followers because he's lying to them about his beliefs.
Okay.
He says...
Okay, one second before...
Go ahead.
Okay, this is important. So you talk about these echelons, these levels, right? So the higher ups, like Jeranism and down the rabbit hole, yeah, they're common. Now, the people that are giving them money, people that are giving them money, it has to be one of two reasons. One, they're dumb and they actually believe it. Or two, they're dumb and they are just perpetuating the troll. I don't know many other options.
I don't think it is reasonable to say that people would. I'm sure there's one or two out there that would pay just to keep the troll going. But for the most part, the people that would be paying money to these guys are people who legitimately believe that the earth is flat and that they're exposing the lie and blah, 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 blah.
And I probably would agree with that. The lower people, they are that stupid. But I mean,
yes,
so when I'm talking about flat earthers, I'm really talking about the ones that are willing to come on and talk to the higher echelon ones. I'm generally saying that I don't believe for a second any of them actually believe the earth is flat.
It took over
the low
2
level
years.
ones, sure, because I mean you got people voting for Trump and they're MAGA supporters and people that believe that Katie Joyce still tells the truth. You could never win. There are always going to be people that are that stupid. So
it took over 2 years. I will say this: it took 2 years, roughly that amount of time, for Jeranism to stop getting absolutely shit on about his piss poor performance during his debate with me on the Non Sequitur show. That was hilarious.
But then he got shit on for going, interesting.
Yeah, he got shat on for a lot of stuff, especially showing Flat Earther to be the big fat fucking joke that it is. But now what he's doing is that he's kind of sticking to his lane. He's not really venturing out and having conversations, and he has a great excuse why he's not doing conversations anymore. Is because now he charges a fee for the privilege.
Unreal.
He wants like $100 for 30 minutes, and I'm like, go fuck yourself.
That's a massive grift. And here's the thing: I'm number one of the grifties, and yet you got Jeranism doing that. It's like we kind of like have things misplaced here.
Well, also the fans of Jeranism and all of them could be making money off it too. Never thought of that. I mean, they could have channels and they could be making money off it also.
Right? There's not enough money in the world.
Well, this is why they don't respond to.
Yeah, that's just so dishonest.
Well, this is why they don't respond to like call-outs and challenges anymore, because when they used to do that, they would get absolutely fucking embarrassed and their dishonesty would become incredibly transparent. Even to the most brain-dead simpletons out there, it would become transparent. They would be like, something ain't right here. kind of like when Jeranism blew the lid off the whole fucking thing by saying that he doesn't have a model that works.
Oh, he got
That
vilified
was
for
a
that.
big no-no.
He got
said
vilified.
the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, those are the certain things you don't say in the flat Earth community. You don't recognize, and that was definitely one of them. And he that was a major misstep for him.
Oh, that one was devastating.
A total fuck up.
Yeah,
that was a total fuck up, and that's exactly why he was getting the shit kicked out of him within the flat earther community. And so, what happened after that? What happened after that was that flat earthers recognized that going into a debate with somebody like me or Sly Sparkane or Astronomy Live, for example, is a very, very, very bad idea. That if they want to keep the grift going, they have to avoid us like the fucking plague.
And I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Now, somebody says that they think that younger creationists are on the same level of dishonest as flat earthers. Steve, I kind of disagree in one way. The higher echelons of the younger creationists, some of them actually really do believe that. And the reason why they believe that is completely faith-based, obviously. They put their own beliefs instead of the scientific data. But you do have people that are younger creationists, that are advanced degreed. They do actually believe it. Whether you can argue whether they're being intellectually honest, sure. I think, of course, they're being intellectually honest. But they're not being dishonest where they're promoting something they don't actually believe. That's the distinction between young Earth creationism and flat Earth. So reality is young Earth creationism is actually more honest than flat Earth, because at least they actually really do believe the Earth is young. They have to go through mental gymnastics to do it. But I do know, obviously, a lot of the big players in the younger community, younger creationist community. And yeah, I think that the majority of them actually really do believe it. So.
And they're both kind of connected, too, because doesn't it say in the Bible it's the Old Testament? I don't know.
Nah, I mean, I don't really read.
Circle.
Yeah, it's. Look, if you read the Bible literally, you're already, I think, like in La La Land. The Bible, there's nothing.
No, I don't.
I'm not a big fan of the Bible as it is, but to read it literally, I think you just have to be. You have to be at lunch. I mean, no biblical scholar I've talked to ever promotes that.
Well, I think I'm on that same page. My opinion is this: young Earth creationists, they actually believe it. The way they get to that belief is very dishonest, but they are genuine in their belief, I will say. There's young Earth creationists out there. I would say there is a substantial number of young Earth creationists that actually believe this shit. Of course, the way they get to that belief is dishonest, but when it comes to flat earthers, they're dishonest from start to fucking finish.
Yeah, all of them.
There is no section in that path of I'm going to make this claim, I'm going to spout this bullshit, I'm going to make this YouTube channel, I'm going to have fucking conventions about this shit. There is no point along that path in that path of decision making where they are being honest. There is no point in their talking, in their YouTube channel, in their conventions where they're being honest. All of it is a fucking bullshit story. With creationism, at least you can be fairly confident that they actually believe this shit, even if they had to lie to themselves to get to that point. But at least their belief is genuine, which is not the same. The same cannot be said for flat earthers.
Yeah. And you know what? It's sad, but that's actually important to me. I don't like arguing things that people don't actually believe themselves. I don't like contrarians. I just block somebody because I think there's a contrarian that I had blocked before. They talked me into unblocking them. And then it's like, look, I don't want to have a conversation with you on these particular topics because I think, one, you're a contrarian, and two, you keep strawmanning me and I'm just not interested. And they kept going and they kept going and they kept poking the bear. And I'm like, do you understand when you tell somebody you're not interested in having a dialogue with you, if you think my arguments are wrong, nobody's stopping you from putting out information about my arguments, right? If you think my paper's wrong, go have at it. Put out paper, put out whatever you want against my work, right? I can't stop you from doing that, nor would I. But I don't have to engage somebody on it, right? I don't have to have a conversation with somebody who says my work is wrong. I have no onus to do that. I have nothing to defend to them. And when I tell somebody I'm not interested and they continue, I end up blocking them,
Yeah, let me see if you agree with this way of phrasing it, Steve. flat earthers will lie about their belief. Creationists will lie to substantiate their beliefs.
Yeah. I think that's actually well stated. I think you made a smart. I think you made a smarty there.
Yeah, I made a Smartie. Look
a
at
Smartie.
that. It's and for those of you who don't know, Smarties are actually candies as well.
They are. They're
But,
very tasty.
and
candies.
they're fucking delicious.
Yes.
But yes,
Indeed.
flat earthers will lie about their beliefs, and creationists will lie to substantiate their beliefs. But one actually believes their bullshit while the other one doesn't. That's the big difference. And so, yes, but I guess I should just put that on a t-shirt. Flat earthers will lie about their beliefs. Creationists will lie to substantiate their beliefs. I mean, just look at Kent Hovind for fuck's sake. I have zero doubt he actually believes
My
this shit.
God.
But he's lying through his fucking teeth to substantiate it.
I would actually say at this point, I'm not even convinced Ken Hovind believes there's a God. Yeah. That dude is just shady, is beyond shady.
Wow.
I mean, the only reason I say that I am confident in his, claim that he genuinely believes this shit is because apparently he was spouting this shit from a nice bar-y house with a bunch of bars.
Oh, jail.
Jail, yes.
Yeah.
Jail.
Or prison. I think he went to prison.
Yeah, he went to prison. So, but apparently he was spouting this his shit in prison, and he wasn't getting paid for it. So, what other reason? It must be because he genuinely believes this shit. Otherwise, he would just shut the fuck up. But now that he's back and able to continue spouting this shit, of course, he went right back to that.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that he believes that the Earth is young. I'm convinced of that. But I'm also convinced that he knows he's lying to get to that point.
Yeah, maybe. It's so if somebody's that dishonest, it's kind of hard to say.
He's lying to himself. He's not just lying to his audience. He's lying to himself.
But like Jamie Russell out there, he's a young creationist, and he actually really believes it, right? So I have no issue with having conversations with somebody like Jamie because he actually really does believe the Earth is young. He's wrong, but he's not dishonest about it. I don't see him going around trying to lie about it. Is there intellectual dishonesty there? Yeah, that's very subjective, obviously. But is he a dishonest guy? No, I don't think Jamie Russell's a dishonest guy. I just happen to fundamentally disagree with him and know he's wrong. But, he has a right to his belief that the Earth is young. But like I said, he actually is somebody who actually does. I believe he very much believes it. I don't think he's trolling. I don't think he's lying about it. I just don't understand why he believes it. But whatever.
I mean, fair. It's that. Hey, listen, if you're going to be wrong on the internet, the absolute bare bones fucking minimum that a person can expect is that you're genuine at the very least. Be genuine in what you believe, even if what you believe is complete dog shit. You should at least be genuine in that belief.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair, actually.
Hey, Jamie, why don't you pop on in? The link is in the video. The pin to the live chat. Come on in. I'll ask you a few things.
Who's Jamie?
Oh, Jamie Russell. He's been around the channel for a very long time. Like I said, I know he's a younger creationist. I got all types watching. I get younger creationists. I've got theists. I've got atheists. I'm eclectic when it comes to that. I don't really like a homogenous group of people that all have the exact same positions. It makes things so boring. Oh, he said he would when he get home. But anyways, I'm so glad I'm feeling better, man. This month sucked for me, man. I was and it was so funny because everybody I knew was getting sick, right? And they were worse off than I was. So even I was like not feeling great. They would call me and say, "Hey, such and such can't come in. Can you work?" And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like at work going, "Stay away from me." It's great because I don't have to be near anybody. During loss prevention, I am autonomous to say the least. I can just look at monitors if I ever want to and stuff like that, where I don't have to engage with people. So when you're not feeling well, that's actually perfect, right? You don't have to deal with the public. So,
yeah, exactly. So But now, what it'll come down to is this: I'm actually going to fuck off because I got shit I got to get done. But I figure I'd stop by real quick
Always
and just say
pleasure.
hi. Oh, what happened to?
Brandon lost connection or something. You dropped out.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not going to keep this
that
open
happens a lot.
very long. Anyways, like I said, I just want to do a quick stream to let people know that I'm not dead, contrary to what people have wished for or think. I still will be streaming, as I will pick it up in December for the holidays. You know, just some stuff. I wanted to promote Non Sequitur on Wednesday with Nikki. She's already confirmed. Again, talk about death and dying. Because again, when you get sick, you do think about these things, right? I mean, I am well aware of my own mortality. I'm just hoping that certain people go first. That's all. I mean, whatever.
If I think for this is my feelings on it is I don't remember who I heard this from, but it really stuck with me. It was I wasn't alive for the first billion or so years of this planet's existence, and I didn't mind it one bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually using.
In fact, it was
I'm actually using
kind
that
of
on
nice.
Yeah, I'm actually using that on Wednesday. Something along those lines. I mean, yeah, but for you though, your biggest threat to your existence is pigs. I mean, that's the only thing you've got to worry about, man.
No, not just pigs. 3 of the fuckers at the exact same fucking time.
4.
No, it was 3. One of them
4.
got split in half. It was counted as a separate pig.
I thought it was 4 and one got vaporized.
No, it was 3, but one was split in half, but was counted as a separate pig.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yep, it was 3 pigs. And so
3 little pigs.
Just like the stories, man, just like the stories. But instead of, a big bad wolf, it was a 2015 Chevrolet Cruze traveling at 70 miles an hour.
I think that 70 miles an hour in a Chevrolet Cruze can do so much damage to...
Dude, I ramped those motherfuckers. I fucking ramped them. It was horrible. I mean, and the thing is that they have black fur, and at night you can't see them until you're right up on them, and that's what got me. That's what got me right there. So,
all right, bud, you have a great night. Like I said, I'll keep this going for a few more minutes, and then, like I said, I'm gonna just chill the rest of the night. I've been taking it real easy. I haven't overexerted myself, but as you can tell, you know I'm feeling better. You knew that I was sick. And you just
I keep an eye on the twatters.
Yeah,
just before it bursts in the flames.
Dude, I use Twitter so infrequently nowadays. I mean, I don't sit there and tweet all the time. I get on for a little while, I update, and then I'm done. And yet, I still see my name on Twitter all the time. People are talking about me, and most of the time they're talking about some of these people that I know of, and I have nothing against. But they keep on talking about how I'm like involved in certain things, and I'm like, I will tell you right here now, people, I haven't been involved in fuck all for some time. I mean, like a year or two. And even when I wasn't actually involved. I was still always tertiary. I was still my own autonomous person that happened to coincide and correlate with certain individuals and what they were trying to accomplish. But other than that, I'm me, man. That's it.
That's the idea.
I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't have a group. I may have the Great to Make community, obviously, on Facebook. I mean, but I don't have any community or something like that where I'm somehow like telling people what to fucking do, like I'm hearing. I'm like, no, that never happened. And this proves it. I've been sick. It's like, who the
that conspiracy was always funny because I'd be like, dude, you give if I were to say to the hypothetical person that has said this about you in the past, I'd be like, oh, you fucking wish. You would like that, wouldn't you?
I think it'd be pretty
You
cool.
want Steve to take control over your life. You want him to say that you're a naughty little boy, don't you?
So naughty. You're a naughty boy.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
This got dirty real fast.
Throw up right now.
This is why I'm an atheist sex cult leader, because I get dirty. People could clip that. There you go. There's your
and I thought my face was what induces vomiting. It's
do you see this?
Look at that.
Is that cool as shit?
That is cool as shit.
Yeah,
I like that effect. It's a really cool effect.
Right? I totally unintentional, but I just produced Lawrence out of nothing. Something from nothing,
dude. You're Jesus, but instead of wine, it's something else.
Somebody who looks like Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm off
right.
now. Peace out.
All right, bud. All right, guys. Anything else you want to wrap up? You got any questions? Ask me now. Again, I haven't been able to really communicate with people as much as I have been. I haven't been responding as much. It's nothing personal to anybody. I don't check messages as frequently, and when I do, it's very cursory. And I'll see somebody message me, but I'm not gonna. I just don't get right back to them unless, obviously, if you're Patreon, if you're a member of the channel, or somebody who's really close to me, then obviously I will. But I'm getting people that I barely even know messaging me on stuff, and I just haven't responded as much as I normally do. And I, again, apologize for that. But when you're not feeling well, you're not going to get involved in these long conversations, So, yeah, my favorite storyline was when Steve involved in the Team Mom Facebook community. And it's now well established that I've never watched even a single episode, not one, of Teen Mom, not Teen and Pregnant, not any of those, not a single episode have I ever seen. And yet somehow I'm involved in the Teen Mom community as a Teen Mom supporter. That's weird. That's weird. I mean, it's not a show that I would ever watch. I don't watch any of that kind of stuff. You want to know the shows I'm watching right now? I just finished Reacher season 1, and I watched both movies with Tom Cruise. Because like I said, when you're sick, I've been binge watching, and I've been playing games and watching TV. So I watched both of the Jack Reacher movies. No Way Back was the second one. They were okay, not bad. I mean, popcorn movie. I liked them. The series though, was freaking epic. If you guys have not watched season 1 of Reacher, I highly recommend it. It's very, very, very good. It's entertaining. I like those kind of shows. So if you have any recommendations for me to watch, put them in the video description. But my recommendation after watching it is Reacher. I will be streaming probably on the Great Debate Community channel next month. Some of the games I've been playing, just to kind of, see if you guys want to talk about some gaming stuff. One of the games I want to talk about is a game called Prey, if you're familiar with that. Some of my, I guess, advice on how to mod. And I don't mean mod as like adding mods, like modding. I mean, in the game, these neuro mods that you can get, and some of them I think are better than others and more useful. So me and a friend of mine, we're going to talk about, kind of what the way to go for modding, the neuro mods to use. And then I've been playing a game called Ark Survival Unlimited. A very interesting game. Very difficult game. No joke. That game, I was, after like 5 days of playing it, I was ready to just punch my monitor. I kept dying, because you will die. If the whole game is designed, you die. And every time you die, if you don't get back to your body quick enough, you basically have to recraft everything. It's like Minecraft on steroids. Finally, now I'm just using cheat codes because I don't even care. But for those who play Ark Survival Unlimited, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Witcher 3, I didn't finish Witcher 3. I got to the very end of the storyline, and my CPU on my other computer, the fan went out. And I haven't been able to replace the fan yet, and I want to get that other computer hooked up, and I have a monitor for it, and finish Witcher 3, because Witcher 3 was one of the best games I've ever played in my life. Seriously, I'm not even joking. If you want to talk about one of the most perfect game of how a game should be made, Witcher 3 is about as close to perfection as I think you can get. Another game I was playing was called, what is it? It's a space game. Galactic Empires 3. And so I had a few tips on maybe Galactic Empires 3. And like I said, I'm not a pro gamer. I just happen to pick up games pretty easy. I like playing games. And by the way, I do like Galactic Empire 3. If you haven't played that, it's not bad. If you like those kind of 4X type games, right? Command, the conquer, explore, eliminate, exterminate. Those kind of games are fun. Those 4X kind of games. I do have Witcher 2. I have not played it yet. I have it on this computer. I just haven't been able to sit down and start Witcher 2, because I know if I start Witcher 2, it's going to be a long process. When I started playing Skyrim, I was like, oh my God, this game go on forever. And I hate to say it, I know I'm in the minority, but I just was not a huge fan of Skyrim. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I liked Oblivion. Oblivion was good. I loved Morrowind. Morrowind 3, which was the third version, like, of the Elder Scrolls series. But Morrowind, again, if you want to talk about a perfect game, Morrowind is about as close as you can get to what I would consider to be a perfect game. I don't have a game console. I'm a PC gamer. I don't have anything like Xbox or PlayStation and like that. I just play on my personal computer. But this is an i7 computer, and it'll run anything. My video card fans did go out, but I was able to put another fan on it, and it's kept it cool. So I can still play some games. But yeah, I love those types of games like Morrowind. Neverwinter Nights, I thought was a brilliant series. So yeah, if you guys want to talk about gaming stuff on the GDC channel, let me know. Because that's what the GDC channel is kind of for, is gaming stuff anymore, or just for whatever. But I thought about, putting Prey on or something and just kind of talk about it. Lady Firebrand says, I love Skyrim, but just grew up Morrowind. Really? She said, I thought the developers were drunk when coding. Really? I thought I played Morrowind the entire way through to the end. And it's a long, long game, to say the least. It is a very, very, I mean, when you buy Morrowind, you get your money's worth. There's no question about that, because I put a lot of hours in that game. And then you get the mods. And one of the best mods I saw was you could put like a base in one of the villages. And this base had these armor statues, and you could get a full set of armor and just put it on there. So I would collect all the armor. I'd be like, okay, this one armor and this one armor and this type of armor, and it looked badass. And I enjoyed that because it looked like I had my own place, So there's a lot of modding you can do with Morrowind. Like I said, I've played a lot of games, and I usually get bored pretty easily. But with Morrowind, I stuck it out. Yeah, no, it probably didn't age very well. I agree with you. Again, you have to put it in perspective for the time period. When Morrowind came out, it was well ahead of its time. But again, then again, when Castle Wolfenstein came out, that was well ahead of its time. Or I don't know, if you really want to go back, Rise of the Triad, Rot. I also have been trying to get back into a game called BioShock Limited that I have. And again, most of these games I've gotten have been free, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but Epic Games and Origin used to give away free games, and Steam, they all offer free games. And even if they're not free, some of them really, really cheap, like 95% off. But most of the games I've gotten are free. I got I did buy like the Fallout series. So I have Fallout 4, 3, Far Cry, I think I have one version of, which I haven't started yet. I can't get into Fallout 4 very much for some reason. It is, I don't know. I just see, I liked Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas, again, I talk about perfect games. It's damn close. Fallout New Vegas is absolutely brilliant. I can't get into Fallout 4 for some reason. Maybe I need to just start over again. Maybe because I haven't played it in so long that I just don't remember the nuances of the game. So maybe I just might start from the beginning. And I never got very far into it at all. I got to where you get your first power suit, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And then I would have these death claws just instantaneously kill me anyways. I'm like, this sucks. But like resourcing and building all that stuff, very, very time consuming, and I'm not a big fan of that. But I do have Fallout 3 that I haven't started yet. BioShock's fun. I just don't know how much further I can go in it. I've lost interest in BioShock. I love the story, especially because it's based on Ayn Rand, which I'm not a fan of. But I mean, obviously, if you know about objectivism and you know about Ayn Rand, BioShock makes a hell of a lot of sense. I mean, it is a dystopia. It is a storyline completely predicated on Ayn Rand's writings. But as far as the play style, not really my play style. Prey is a lot more of my play style, even though Prey is very similar to BioShock in as far as like the graphics and the user interface. But I thought the storyline of Prey was very, very, very good. Has anybody been playing Prey? Anybody? I gotta get over this cough though. I think worse than like, trying to talk to people when you're coughing. But what else you guys got for me? You got anything else before I fade out? I still got to keep my strength, so I'm eating. But I want to know if you guys have anything that you've heard or rumors, because I literally have no clue what's going on. I don't know anything about anything that's going on with any of these people. I've never been into the Marvin McRae, any of that stuff. I don't talk to them while they go lightly. I've never even spoken to Justin, like, verbally, only through like emails and stuff like that. So I have nothing going on with that. I don't know who this Dana person is. I talked to her in a live chat once. I don't know who Penelope is. I don't know who Nonsense is, other than some mouthpiece for Katie. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm not involved in any of it. But if you guys see my name being bantered around by these people, just ask for a shred of evidence and ask me what the fuck they're talking about, because I just don't know. Elden Ring? No. What is Elden Ring? That name sounds familiar, but no, I don't think I've played Elden Ring. I played Baldur's Gate. Which one's Elden Ring? Let me look this up real quick. Is it a two-dimensional game like Diablo? Elden Ring? Trying to get a graphic for it. Okay, the graphics doesn't really tell me what kind of game it is here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it's a first person. I know a Flamio, yeah. Yeah, I know a Flamio. Hi, a Flamio. Yeah, I might be interesting, like an Elden Ring type game. That's kind of interesting. I've seen it before now. I recognize. I mean, it's like a World of Warcraft kind of first person. See, Dark Souls. I never got into Dark Souls because I heard the learning curve on Dark Souls is so intense that I just don't have the wherewithal to sit and learn the Dark Souls learning curve, even though that's a free game. Is Elden Ring it's an online game only, because I only do mostly solo play stuff. I don't want to be involved in a massively multiple online game. I don't want to have any people depending on me. My schedule is all over the place. I don't even want to deal with people. If I can't solo something, I don't want to play it. Can you play Elden Ring solo? Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't tell. I'll look into it, because I do like the D&D type games. It's single player, okay. Is it on Steam? Yeah, I usually use Steam. I don't buy anything from Epic, but I will play their free games. Sorry. Sorry, all you haters for Epic out there. And every month, actually not even a month, is every couple weeks, Epic has a free game they put out, and I've collected like dozens and dozens, and some of them end up being pretty good. I mean, they had Civilization 6 for free. That was like a $50 game, and that was fun. Civilization, all the Civ games are good. Oh, it's on Steam. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll buy like cheap games with like $5 or less. I usually, yeah. I bought like, was it 2032 Redux or something? Wasn't a huge fan of it. Subway type game, but it's like $5 or whatever, right? Let me look here. Elden Ring, $60. Fuck no, I ain't paying $60. I would never pay so much for a game. I guess people know I'm frugal, man. Is it really $60? That's insanity. Enter a valid date. That is a valid. Oh no, that's not my birthday. I guess I need to put my actual birthday there. Let's see here, 1970. Yes, I was born in 1970. The finest video game made yet. Yeah, it's $60. Maybe it goes on sale. Steve, I heard you settled with Katie B. No, I've never spoken to anything about it. There was no settlement. She can kiss my ass. You know. How can you settle with somebody you have no communication with? There is no settlement. My only settlement is that she could fuck off and die in perpetuity, and I wish the very, very most harmful things upon her. And you can quote me on that. I don't mind. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have support to do it. I'm leaving it up for 7M. And 7M has a good case. I told you, my lawyer did do an analysis of 7Ms and said, yeah, it's a winner-take-all kind of thing. And they're not giving up. They're not capitulating. And I do very much believe that 7M is going to annihilate her. Do I think they're going to get the default motion? Probably not. I mean, 50-50. It can go either way. So if they do get the default judgment, great. If they don't, that's fine too. But I do think they're going to get a protective order if they don't get the default judgment. But I think that it's probably better for her to take the hit for $1 million, because if not, it's probably going to be a lot for more. But if you want to keep up on that stuff, Aaron has been keeping up on all that. I haven't really kept up on it. I did one stream not too long ago, only after the phone call that they had, which I only got a part of because I was on a Monday on the 21st. And I had jury duty. Yes, summons for jury duty. I had to go to jury duty. Whatever. And then so I had a lunch. They basically, I got there like 9:30, sat all day long. Finally at like 11:30, they're like, hey, why don't you guys wait for lunch? Come back at 1. Come back at 1. We still don't know if we need you or not. Comes about 4 o'clock, and they're like, oh, we don't really need you. This counts for your entire year. You're going home, you're done. So we sat there from like 9:30 to 4 o'clock doing absolutely freaking nothing in these chairs. But I did manage to come home for lunch and listening on the phone call, the lawyer's thing, the Zoom call, which was pretty interesting because I really think that 7M's lawyer's sharp. I do. Anyways, guys, oh, you've heard they got the default? From where? The judge has 90 days to weigh in to determine that. So, but yeah, default is probably not likely because it is a large sum of money. And generally speaking, from what I understand, judges like to weigh things on the merits of the case. So it's a civil case. It's not criminal. But anyways, I'm starting to fade again. I'm still, like I said, I'm not 100%. So I'm starting not to feel great again. I took some cough medicine and I got some coffee in me to kind of force myself to stream, to kind of let you guys know how I'm doing and stuff like that. And I just missed you guys. But I think that it's wearing off. I don't want to overexert myself. So if you guys got questions for me, leave them in the comment section. Try to avoid DMing if you can, because again, I'm not responding as much as I used to, but I do read the comments on the videos, and I'll get back to you when I can. Okay, guys, and I appreciate it. I very much appreciate all you guys that are sticking around. God damn. But yeah, I gotta go. All right, good night, guys, and I will see you Wednesday on the Non Sequitur show with Nikki 38 on Death and Dying. It should be fun because we're gonna have people who want to call in and talk, but I'm gonna give my perspective on what I think Death and Dying consists of, basically, and what happens, and then let you guys kind of weigh in. Okay. So with that, guys, good night.